What's up, everybody? Welcome to Don't Give Up with Jacob. Today, I have a special guest joining me on my show. Not only that, I've also been a guest on her show many times before, and we even did an episode together in person previously. So please welcome back to the show, Rachel Beck.
Jacob, it is such an honor and privilege to be back on your show. You ask the most incredible questions to people, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm on Team Jacob 1000%.
I'm so glad to have you back on my show so we can talk about what's going on with our lives together. All right,
Me
so
too.
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, all right?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so the first question I
Mhm.
have for you is, what are some struggles that you have with your life?
You know what, Jacob? I have gone through a tremendous amount of struggles in my life. I actually, I battled a disease for 20 years of my life, which was very, very difficult. Um, I've dealt with a lot of struggles in my life. I'm using, being a Indian Jewish woman has not been easy for me. And so I'm using my voice to end anti-Semitism and I'm using my voice to end racism.
All right, that sounds really cool. Sometimes I struggle with certain things, especially when I clap randomly, I say random things out loud, and I also repeat certain things sometimes. And in school, I sometimes feel like the teachers are going too fast for me to keep up, and I feel like some of the lessons are pretty hard. And I also feel like teachers are sometimes being a little bit serious around the other students and especially me. And I know they're not really trying to be mean, but I still feel like they're a little bit serious sometimes.
And so do you find school, Jacob, hard to navigate?
Yeah, I actually kind of do.
Mm.
All
And
right,
that's
so
from someone who Jacob, go ahead, I'm ready. Mm.
what were you gonna say?
I don't know if you know this, Jacob. I was a teacher for many years in my 20s, for very, very long. Yes, I did that in my 20s as a job.
Wow, that's very interesting. All right, so now I'm gonna ask you, what do you usually do when things get hard for you? Like when you feel something like angry, upset, frustrated, or even stressed? Like, how do you deal with that?
I love, Jacob, I love to be outdoors. So for me, it's I enjoy hiking, being out in nature. I love to fish. What we were talking about with you and your brother when we were together with the family. So for me, that's nature is extremely healing for me in many different ways.
Yeah, I usually like to do certain things like I ride the exercise bike, I draw and color, and I also listen to certain music. And that's really helpful for me.
Oh, I'm so glad you talked about music, Jacob, because I listen to music all day long. Music is very, very helpful for me. And I also paint. And I actually have been doing a tremendous amount of drawing recently, and all of it has been very, very helpful. We both have art to help us, which is so wonderful.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It really is wonderful. And I'm also planning on writing another book all about these musical superheroes who stop crime by playing guitar solos because I love music.
You, me, both.
So now I'm going to ask you, how do you get along with others and make friends?
You know what? I believe, Jacob, that friendships are the most important thing in this world. I have friends that I've been friends with since I'm 4 years old. Um, we have friendships are how we go through life. It's how we go through life. So I treasure my friendships, and my friendships mean the world to me.
I have a couple of friends too, actually. However, I don't really have much, but I still do have quite a couple, and we usually like to FaceTime each other on certain days and talk about certain stuff together, which I find that really interesting and fun.
Yeah, it is fun to FaceTime with your friends. It absolutely is. And you know what, Jacob? Please count me in as one of your friends because I count you as one of my friends. And it is friendships are a gift. They're a gift.
Yeah, friendships really are a special treasure.
They are absolutely.
All right, so now I'm gonna ask you, have you ever had a certain type of experience with like bullying before? How did it affect you and make it feel? And what was it like?
Jacob, I was actually severely bullied in middle school and high school. Severely bullied. It was very, very difficult for me. And that stays with you for the rest of your life. And so I have zero tolerance for people bullying each other. I use my voice for that. And so it affected me. When you're bullied and you're living in fear and you're dealing with it over and over and over again, it takes part of your soul. It really takes part of your soul. So I have a zero tolerance for bullying across the board. I will stand up for people when they're getting bullied because
Yeah,
nobody stood up. No one stood up for me, and it went on for years. I also have a lot of friends who were bullied through school. I have a family member who's bullied through school. So I think we have to use our voices, Jacob, to tell people it's never ever okay to bully somebody.
yes, that's right. I feel really bad for you. I'm really sorry to hear that. And you're definitely right. Bullying has no place in this world, and we definitely need to use our voices to tell them to please make it stop immediately.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing today. And we're going to continue to do it because, for the people who were bullied in middle school or high school, they have those long-term effects later in life. That's what happens. Yeah. Good questions, Jacob. These are phenomenal questions.
Yeah, I'm asking great questions. And I also want to know, how is your book writing career going? Like, have you written any new books recently?
Actually, Jacob, I am in the process of writing another book right now. It might take me a couple months to finish it, but I'm in the process of writing another book.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I'm writing, yeah,
Well, I can't wait to read it because I love your books. People need to buy your books. Your books are phenomenal. They need to buy your books.
yeah, I definitely agree. I really want to make lots of money, and I want to be known worldwide, and I also want to someday turn some of my books into TV shows and movies, do some collaborations with other authors and illustrators, and even get my own balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That will be awesome.
You know what, Jacob? I'm so proud of you. You are such a hard worker. You are an extremely hard worker. And my hope for you is that all your dreams come true and you can count on me during the journey as you keep growing and doing everything you're doing. Count me in.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to count you in. And by the way, speaking of goals, what are some goals that you hope to accomplish in the future?
So, Jacob, I'm actually one of my goals has to do with mental health. I'm working on something concerning mental health. And the other goal is I'm working on for that concerns the orphanage that I came from. So those two goals are something that I'm working on every day.
Yeah, I'm also trying to stay fit and healthy, especially meaning riding the exercise bike, eating every day, eating well, showering, brushing my teeth, and especially shaving.
Well, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I give all credit to kids who are in school now. It's a very different environment that we grew up in. And so I give a lot of credit for going through school, making I know this is a big graduation time, people are graduating, but it takes a lot for this generation to go through school now. It takes a lot.
I definitely agree. By the way, if someone was going through like a tough time, what would you like say to them, or what advice would you give to keep them nice and strong?
I would tell them three things. Number one, I would tell them they're not alone because a lot of people, when they're going through a hard time, they feel very alone. They're not sure who they can open up and share with. And then I would tell them that I'm there for them. That's really, really important to let somebody know when they're going through a hard time that you're there for them and that you're going to be there for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. What wise words you're using, by the way. I can definitely relate to all these wise words.
Well, I know you understand too because you're using your voice in such a phenomenal way, and you're such a kind human being, and you're doing this every single day. You are, Jacob, you're part of the solution. You're out there spreading positivity, you're out there spreading kindness. You're doing an incredible job.
Thanks. I know
You're
I'm definitely Yeah, I know I'm definitely doing a great job as well. And I'm glad I have you to support me and cheer for me every day of my life and every step of the way of my journey.
That's right. Count me in 1000%.
Oh, you bet I will.
These are phenomenal questions, Jacob.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on my show today. I'm so glad I could ask you such phenomenal questions and having to let you know what's going on with my life. And I'm so glad I could talk to you about what's going on with your life too. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. And Jacob, you must be so excited. School's going to be out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be the summer. So tell me, what are you super excited about for this upcoming summer?
Well, for the upcoming summer, I'm not exactly sure what I'm really looking forward to because I'm more of a cold weather kind of person. But if it stays cold all year, then I'd eventually get tired of the cold weather eventually because I'd want to do other things like go swimming, play basketball, and go to summer camp.
Oh, that's so incredible. So I did summer camp, when I was growing up. I did and I really enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, summer camp is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much, Rachel, for talking to me today.
You are welcome. Thank you very much for having me today. I think that you are a phenomenal interviewer, Jacob. I think you do an incredible job.
No problem, anytime.